Wholesaling for 5 years, is it worth it?
It's free real estate.
Let's talk about it. If you stay to the end, I have some exciting news that I want to share with you, and I think you'll be glad to hear it, especially if you're getting started or if you've been in the industry for a while. I want to talk about my 5 years, year by year, just so you get an idea of how it went for me, and then from there I'll let you know, hey, is wholesaling worth it? My overall opinion on how the industry is working right now, and if somebody who's brand new can get started in the industry. Let's talk about year one. So year one, I closed my first deal. My first deal ended up being $65,000. I know what you're thinking, wow, that's great, Alex. Why wouldn't you recommend wholesaling? Well, I had some, disclaimer, I had some prior experience working for another wholesaling company before I went out on my own. Through them, I dispositioned properties, which just meant I sold those wholesale deals. I had no experience doing that. I had to learn everything trial by fire, right? Didn't have a single clue what I was doing, and I just kind of it. So from that, I learned about things that I liked doing, things that I didn't like, and just kind of used those moving forward. I had no acquisition experience, so I didn't know how to talk to sellers, anything like that. Anything dealing with the seller, I really didn't have that much experience. Fast forward to my first deal, my first year, $65,000. After I made that $65,000, I invested $50,000 of it with a mentor. Damn! And that mentor taught me how to wholesale locally, virtually, without ever seeing the property, ever seeing the market, without having to go anywhere. I could do everything from my own home in the comfort of my office. And for me, that was a very hard decision to make, because coming from not having any money growing up, now to a point where I'm investing almost all of the money I made, and that's the most money I've ever made in 1 month, let alone 1 year, so quickly. But I had to lose that attachment to money, and I knew that after reading several books and just looking at how other people are successful. So I invested that money with a mentor, and the skills that I learned were absolutely worth it. It's everything that I've used to be where I am today, to have the things that I have, and just to be blessed with this knowledge that I'm sharing with you absolutely free. So year one, I closed about 2 to 3 deals, if I remember correctly, and it equated to almost $100,000. So my next year, my goal was to make 6 figures, and I did it. I closed about 24 to 30 deals, and they were all virtual with the exception of maybe one. And I only say that's not virtual because it's in my own state, but I never even went to the property then. So I guess it technically was virtual. So I closed all those deals virtually. Problem was I was spending just about as much as I was making. And the way you do that is you start making this money, right? So you're now thinking, well, I'm making this money. I know what I'm doing, right? I think I know what I'm doing. And so I started adding these systems onto my business. I started adding text blasting. I started adding all these cool, fancy systems at the highest tier plan. And I started hiring VAs, and I was like, man, I'm really good and super smart. I can outsmart everybody. I can get there faster than everybody if I just have all these awesome, super simple or not simple systems. And so I just started hiring and buying all these systems and softwares, and I thought because of that I would get more deals and I could just maintain the same type of person I was, which was very unorganized, and I wasn't really good at managing people. I thought because I had closed those deals on my own, it would just translate into those skills. And I ended up, like I said, almost spending as much as I made that year. So I made over 6 figures, and I barely got to keep any of it because of my mismanagement and unorganization. And that second year was a stressful year, let me tell you, because I had just bought my first house, had a family, and I was the provider, right? My wife didn't work, she took care of the kids, so it was very stressful. And I had several panic attacks. So I thought something had to change. And unfortunately for me, I blamed it on the VAs and just thinking that it can't be possible, right? And so what I did was I did everything on my own. I started looking at ways to maximize my return for minimal investment. And I actually ended up being able to do that. Year 3, I ended up wholesaling or trying to wholesale a deal while I was on vacation. It was gonna be a $30,000 deal. And I really needed the money because things were very tight for me at the time. While I was on vacation, it was set to close. I get a call from my buyer's agent, and he had let me know, hey, we're not going to be able to close. And I said, well, how soon do you think we can close? And he said, I don't know. My buyer's lender never even started the process. What the f? I don't know what happened. There was a miscommunication. And for those who are in wholesaling or those who don't know, if you're wholesaling a deal, you ideally want to sell to a cash buyer. But I got really good at selling to retail buyers before novations became a thing. I got really good at finding a real estate agent who was willing to find me those cash buyers for a really good price. And anything over what I wanted, he would keep in his pocket. So it was a win-win for him, win-win for me. But because of that, there's an extra person in the cog, or the wheel rather, and things can go wrong, especially with communication, because now I'm not dealing directly with the buyer, and all that is dependent upon them. So long story short, they couldn't close on it. I wanted to save my reputation. So I ended up buying that deal as my first rental. It was 5 units. It's for $150,000. To me at the time, because I didn't have any experience buying properties and keeping them, I wasn't exactly sure how good of a deal it was. I knew it was a good deal. I just didn't know how good of a deal it was. I spent 2 months rehabbing that property completely by myself, watching YouTube videos, and it was stressful. I had no idea what I'm doing in construction, no business doing it, and it probably took me 2 months to do something what somebody else would take 2 weeks. So a huge learning lesson there. Spent about $5,000 on the rehab on one of the vacant units. Bought it for $150 and it appraised for $215 after I got it after I went to refinance it. Buy, renovate, rent out, refinance, repeat. That's what BRRRR stands for. And because I bought at such a low price, it needed a low rehab and it just needed to be managed properly, it appraised for almost double what I purchased it for, and a bank will give you 70 to 75% to what it's worth when it's all said and done. So because I was all in at 150, the bank appraised it at 290. The bank appraised it at 290. Because the bank appraised it at 290, I was able to pull out 215. So that 215 minus 150 is what I got to keep in my pocket, completely tax-free because debt is not taxed, and I can roll that into the next one. And after doing that first deal, my 3rd year, it changed and revolutionized exactly how I think about real estate and the money I could make just doing the BRRRR process. And that's exactly what I did. Remember, I said I was going to make $30,000 on that wholesale deal that I would have had to pay taxes on, and that would have been that. And I had to grind for the next deal, right? Because I did the BRRRR process, I not only made $65,000, but it was tax-free, and I was getting $1,500 a month positive cash flow every single month net after all my expenses were said and done, and the property is still not up to market rent. So I built generational wealth. I got a huge lump sum of cash, and I'm doing it all tax-free because depreciation, repairs, all these things are written off on your income for the rental income. And because of that, I virtually made no money for years 3, 4, and 5 on the real estate side. After that BRRRR process, like I said, it changed my ways as far as how I think about real estate. And so that was my priority more moving forward. For years 3, 4, and 5, I just focused on buying BRRRR deals, and I did, and I made over $500,000 doing so. And I built over a $2 million portfolio, including my personal home, but a $2 million portfolio gross between my rental properties and everything that I have, which was really cool because I came from Section 8 housing, getting evicted from house to house, to now be able to say these things on YouTube. Also for years 3, 4, and 5, I partnered up with somebody. We hosted a Discord where we would take students on for a fee, obviously. And I did that for 3 years, for the last 3 years. And because the income from that was really good, I didn't see a need to wholesale. All I did was focus on finding properties to do the BRRRR process. And then the income from teaching students and helping them succeed in wholesaling really allowed me to free up my time and spend a lot of time with my family, my wife and kids, and do whatever I want whenever I wanted. So it was super convenient for me. I didn't see the need to go back into wholesaling, stress about hiring a team, things like that, and trying to grow that. Because at the end of the day, wholesaling is another job, and that's what I want to get to as far as the overarching premise of wholesaling. Is wholesaling a great industry to get into? Absolutely. Is it worth it? It can be, but at the end of the day, it's an ends to a mean. Unless you absolutely love wholesaling and it's your bread and butter, it gets you excited in the morning, you get super rock hard from it.
What did he say?
Whatever, wholesaling can be good, but for everybody else, it's just something else that you have to manage. Even if you have a team and it's hands off, you do have to step in every now and then and manage. Are there worse things that you could do for a job? Absolutely. You should be using wholesaling for the means that I had mentioned before, like buying properties, or to build the skills you need to go into a different avenue of real estate, such as flipping. So can an absolute beginner start wholesaling today? Yes, you can. And I'm going to make a new and updated video on how to do that if you have absolutely no money. It's one of the strategies that I really feel strongly about, especially coming from where I come from, of spending so much money, realizing that's not the answer, to now minimizing the money you have to invest and maximizing your results. My BRRRR deals obviously show that, as well as my wholesaling experience. And so I'm excited to create that video coming up. And if you would like to see it, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. That way you get notified when I do post it. But more importantly, I wanted to announce what I had to announce in the bonus that I was talking about. Unfortunately, the mentorship thing didn't work out with my business partner. Things outside of my control. Him and I are no longer working together. His loss, your gain. I've decided, because I've helped so many students. I've had almost 1,000 students that I've been a part of their journey. Of course, not all 1,000 are going to succeed, right? Even if you pay somebody to give you information and to help you along the way, you still got to put in the work, right? There's no easy button to success. I was a student once. I understood that. I always thought in the back of my mind, just because I had a very bad mindset about things, that everything was going to be done for me. And my year 2 was a clear example of that. I thought because I had this mentor, I could cheat the systems, I could get away with not doing the work. And the fact of the matter is, nobody's immune to not doing the work. You have to put in the effort. But we had a lot of people who closed 6-figure deals. One of the guys closed almost a $300,000 deal, and to be a part of his journey was just super fulfilling. And so not only was it good pay, but it was super fulfilling because I was helping people who wanted to help themselves, and they just had the eagerness to learn. And the good news for you all is, if you want to be a part of something like that and be part of a community that we're growing, then I suggest that you stay tuned, because I'm going to be creating a free Discord, or I don't know where we're going to host it, but it's going to be absolutely free. We're going to provide you the same value. We're going to host weekly sessions where you can ask questions freely and things like that. Down the road, if we get a lot of people, or if people start begging me like, hey, can I just pay you some money to teach me?
Yeah, boy.
I might open it up at that point. I don't know. It's not my intention right now, but I do want to provide as much value as I can in this free situation, and I don't hold anything back. I'm an open book. And so because you're a viewer of my channel, and if you're subscribing, it really, really helps me more than the money could ever help me. So I really appreciate your support and value you watching this video. And so I highly recommend you check out some of my older videos if you haven't already, because they are still very relevant. There's still a lot of life lessons in them. You can tell when I was in it, right? The year 2, there's a lot of those videos where I was in it. I was going through the things that I was learning. Very applicable today, and you can still learn from them. So if you're interested in something like that, where we're creating this free opportunity just to join, please comment down below, say I'm interested, or just tell me what you're looking for something out of that. And we're gonna take everything into consideration, and we may implement it and kind of go from there. If you found value out of this, again, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'm not monetized yet, by the way. I have 1,000 subscribers, but I am not monetized yet. And so I encourage you to help us get there so that we can reach more people, change their lives. I've helped people make 6-7 figures in wholesaling real estate, and I want to help you too. So thanks so much. We'll see you guys in the next one. Look who decided to join us. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, let me down. I don't want to be in the video. That's Chico, everybody.